Hey everybody, Bill in Virginia. Welcome back. So I have finished up that little bit of transition between the foreground and the backdrop. Used the polyfiber as the base and then just wet it with isopropyl alcohol and then added 50-50 dilute white glue and then sprinkled on various colors of ground foam and ground turf. Different blends, different mixes, just to get different texture, because all of that's going to be hidden behind trees. But if you happen to get a glimpse of it, I want it to kind of transition between the backdrop and then the foreground. Now, I moved my fascia. I had a near catastrophe in the garage just minutes ago. In the last video, I showed it was sitting right there. Well, I didn't even think that my garage door track extends well beyond that. So the garage door got opened, got jammed there, quickly got the off on it, but the far corner of the garage door came off the track and was hanging down. The main bracket is bent a little bit. Spent the past 15-20 minutes getting that fixed. So lesson learned, always know your space limitations with overhead objects, doors, lights, plumbing, ventilation system, whatever you got, so you don't have an expensive mess on your hands. So anyway, I'm gonna move over here slowly. I finished the 9 trees, and I want to show something here and see if we can see it on the video. If you look at the trees, and you can see the static grass is really looking pretty good on these. They're standing proud on these trees that I just did. Static grass and everything else that I've been doing has been looking pretty good. But I just decided that I would use my static grass applicator. And let me change hands here. And that when I'm sprinkling the static grass, now for one thing, I use painter's tape on the inside. It's kind of hard to see there. You can kind of see the opening is only about a fifth of what the screen is, just so I can kind of control the amount that's going out. But as I was putting static grass on, I was thinking, hey, I've got my probe here, hanging. And what I did is I just activated the static grass indicator, just so that I've got it on, but it's not connected to the trees. Then I did the last coating of static grass on the top, and that's where I got that nice standoff on the grass. So I'm going to start doing that with my trees, just to kind of give me that nice appearance on the crowns of these trees. Just a little tip, just something that I happened to discover playing. You don't have to hook it up to the tree, but turning it on gives you that little bit of a static field, just makes the stuff stand up a little bit more. So anyway, I'm going to put these on in the area where I just did that backdrop transition, and then we'll move on to do something else. So I have the 9 additional trees added along the backdrop. I will make another batch. Yeah, I'm going to make a few more so I can kind of have a few areas where they kind of bump out and a little bit thicker. And then I do need more over here, but I'd already anticipated that. So probably another, maybe 4, 10. I'll do another batch of maybe 20. And that should get me this area all complete. And then I can start doing some other things in here. Probably make those trees first. That way I've got the area set out. Well, actually, no. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. I'm sure I'll make some trees, but I can also start to do the ground cover in this area that's being actively logged. I really don't need to do a whole lot except spread some glue, put the ground cover down, and then I can get the pieces of trees that I've got and cut them. And do the cutting where it looks like they're actually being cut, the way you see it in the field, by loggers, and I can start to get this area going. So I'm not sure what I'll do next. It's late Sunday afternoon. but we'll figure it out. So anyway, that's looking pretty good. Yeah, I like how that's looking. A lot of trees, but that's exactly what you expect in an eastern forest. So nice. Okay, on to something different. So I've opted to start here where my logging camp or logging area is going on. So I'm just starting with ground cover, just real basic cover here. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to start cutting up some of the twigs that I've got to add stumps, and you can see I left off there. That's because I've run out of white glue, so I've got to go get some more. Do that later, but I can get started over here. So this area is going to have a variety of stumps. There's going to be a lot more different ground cover put in to look like trash from active cutting. Probably have a fallen tree over here kind of leaning this direction or laying this direction when I get done. Help kind of blend in between this area and the seam. So a lot of details going to go into this. So let's see what I can get done yet here. Well, late Sunday afternoon, and I've got some of this area kind of done. Still got some more that I'm going to do to it, but you can kind of get a sense here. Variety of stumps, some logs, a lot of off-cut stuff, branches and twigs. Still got to come back in with more sawdust. I've been using my hacksaw to cut the stumps, and I've been saving the sawdust because, well, you know what, it's O-scale, so I can put it back around the stumps here. I will add a little bit of grass in a few areas, and once I get this whole area done, I'll probably put in a couple of real small pine trees that just didn't get cut because they're too small, and maybe a little bit of other stuff, but not too much. And we'll go from there. So you can kind of get in bird's eye view. I will again put in some bigger trees in the back. I opted to not put in a fallen tree here. I'll put actually another stump in up there. But over here, I will have a tree that's actively being cut, or maybe over here, kind of coming across, have guys around it. But this is gonna turn out pretty well, down at track level. I'm gonna have piles of logs in different areas. I've got a book on West Virginia narrow gauge logging roads, and there's one particular picture in there that showed piles of debris and logs to be hauled out. I'm gonna use that sort of as my model for this area once I get over to it. But all right, let's see what else I can do. Sunday evening comes to a close. So I've been doing a little bit more work on just this little piece of a scene. Did not get any glue yet. Probably do that tomorrow after work. But added more ground cover, some logs that are ready to go, a little bit of like flowers, added a couple, well, actually added several, more than several. Added 5 figures and a dog. The 5th figure is just kind of propped up over here, arms crossed, leaning against some stumps. But let this dry overnight, see how it looks. But so far I'm happy with how this logging area is. I got quite a bit more to do over here, but it's a nice scene. Yeah, I like how that's looking. Monday night, and after work I went and got a lot of white glue. This bottle is mixed up 50-50. That should be plenty for a lot of scenery over here. And I am also starting to build the next batch of trees. So right down there now is another 16 trunks. That little pile just up by the nippers there, that's 4 individual small trees. So I'm going to let the glue firm up on that, probably overnight, and then tomorrow I will add the toothpicks on top and then roll them in the wood glue and coat them with Woodland Scenics ground cover, then let them dry. So by the end of the week, I can move all this stuff and add additional trees. Let me get over here. So I can add a few additional trees in here, probably one in there, one in there, maybe another one over in here, and then I can start to fill in this little area down here and up to here, where the track, I really got to move that stuff, then I can talk about it, but maybe in the next segment I'll have that out of the way. Anyway, tonight or tomorrow, I will get started by putting more glue down and continuing across on this scene here. I just got the dozer and the log skidder there. I think that's probably where I'm going to leave them once I get the rest of the ground cover done, but more to come. So there I cleaned off most of my junk so I can actually see what I'm doing over here. So what I will do is I will put in more of this type of ground cover in and around here and up through here. I will have brush along this little line. I will leave some rock exposed, have some brush kind of hanging over. Have this area right in here logged, as well as up through here. I'll have trees in through here, and then kind of leave this open so you can kind of look into it, and then more trees up through here. So this will be a nice open spot. This area in here will also be logged. And what I'm thinking of doing is I'm thinking of putting like a little dirt road, even more rustic than over at the cabin, up through here to kind of access this area. One thing is that it's about the only way you could get that dozer in there. But what I'll probably do, and I can do some other things then over into here as well. So I'll probably take my hacksaw and cut this down a little bit, bring a road up right in through here and around, just a real rustic dirt road. Ruts and then the works, some bush, some small trees here, logged in this area, getting a couple of trees maybe right in this area here. And then still, again, big cluster of trees right in here. Maybe a tree or two here. I'm not sure yet. I'll kind of play with that, or it might be logged. I just want to see how the view develops on this. If you're standing in here at a show, you're looking up, you're able to see that, having maybe a couple of trees up here, maybe some smaller ones, like 6 inches. Maybe a couple more trees up on here, and then some cut trees kind of off on the side. So we'll see. That's kind of what my thoughts are right now. I'll get farther along on this, and we'll see what direction I'm going with it. So Tuesday night after work, and I think this segment is going to do it for this video. Put in a couple of stumps right by the narrow gauge trestle, kind of where I said I was going to. I will add some ground cover and some other details around those. I'll probably do that in the next video, and moving slowly. I've got another 16 trees cooking. So once these firm up, I will build them and get them on the layout. And that'll probably be where I pick up the next video. So I'll have these farther along, and I'll be starting to do more work on that logged area. I should be able to get a lot of that scene done then on the next one, once I get these built and put in place. So with that, keep having fun on your layouts. Until next time.